Once again, I muted myself. This day is just ridiculous. Okay, anyway. welcome back to Commission Reviews. I have a special guest in the background. Y'all know I'm doing this comedy series. It's like all of a sudden everybody think comedy is new. It's been here. Y'all late. So with that being said, I have the king. What is going on, Doug? How you doing?
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. If you say that. I'm great. I'm great. God is good.
Yeah, there's something wrong with me. It really is.
That's right.
It is.
Oh man.
Yes, God is good. God is good. God is good. Yes.
Yes.
I want to ask. I know because I've watched you for such a long time, and I really, when I say king like seriously, like you're naturally just a funny person. I feel like I couldn't have been your teacher or anything. And I was wondering. My dude was like, "Hey, how you gonna get through the interview?" I was like, "I don't know," but the man just literally funny. I don't care. So it's like, how did you even get started in comedy? I want to ask you that.
It's funny because I'm from Montgomery, Alabama, and going to church it was such a big influence on me. Seeing the pastor every week, preachers, Southern preachers in particular, have the ability to tell amazing stories and uplift your spirit, and you come and you can be depressed or something going on in your life, and they have an ability to just charge you and tell these funny stories. And I miss that because out here, I'm out in LA now, and preaching has become a business now. And these preachers are unoriginal. You go see their sermons and you hear, the sermon is, y'all gonna make me lose my mind up in here. And you're like, hey, wait a minute, that's not even yours. What are we doing here? So just to be in that church and to see him was inspirational. And I knew I wanted to do that in some type of capacity. And comedy was that vehicle for me.
Oh, that's beautiful. I like that. And that's actually really true. Church is not the same anymore. We all know that. The Southern churches don't even do it the way, churches are different in the South. They even go on business like now. Like, you come in this ticket, $250, you sitting up here. It's like that. That's how I feel. It's like, it's a mess.
It's like going to the club.
I want to ask you this because I said it is like not the club. Like, well, I think it's been like that for a long time, even my mama days. I just think that they kind of had it hidden. But anyway, I want to ask. So with comedy, it's popping, but I know it's been popping. How do you, as a vet, because you're a vet, how do you feel about this? Like looking at these kids coming up, and I mean kids. When I say that, I mean like I call them the Instagram comedians, and I'm not saying they're not funny, but I'm just saying like the skits, the Instagram, and it's all new and popping. But it's been popping. How do you feel about that? You've been in the game for a minute.
Well, I feel like it's become like a cash cow for the internet, and I'm not internet comedians. I'm not hating on them, but a lot of them, they're not ready. They do a video of somebody doing something or something crazy. They get all these hits, and then all of a sudden they got all these followers. And what it has done is now all people care about is how many followers you have. You get ready to go to a comedy club, or you try to audition for something, and the first thing on how many followers you have. And so now the game has gotten polluted because it's not about talent anymore. It's just about how many followers do you have. And there's a business model behind that because they assume if you have a large following that you're going to sell tickets in any capacity, be it put you in a movie, be it come to a comedy club. But the talent is not backing it up. You go see some of these guys that have millions of followers on the internet, and you go see them in person, and you're just like, hey, and that's not to hate on any of them, but it's the reality of what it is. I mean, you look at some of the comments, and I've been doing that. Look at the comments what people are saying after their show or after they see them on Netflix, and people are saying, "Man, this wasn't what I thought it was going to be."
Well, look. Let me go on just jump into this mess here. Now, Club Shay Shay and shut this stuff down ever since Cat Williams they got on the mic. Like it's been a complete, I ain't gonna say disaster, but it's been a mess. I'll just say a mess. And Club Shay Shay seems to be the spot for comedians to go to for the past 6 months now. the Cat Williams interview, as far as I know, like I said, you've been in this game even longer than Cat. Watching that interview, what did it make you think at the end of it? And maybe you didn't watch the whole 15 hours of the interview, but I'm saying once you saw the clips and the comments and the skits, what was your mindset watching all that?
I hate it when we, tear each other down, or there's conflict, in our community, because everybody, including Cat Williams, the comedians that he spoke of, everybody had a tough road to getting there. None of us were born with a silver spoon in our mouth. We can just come into money. People had to work hard to get there. So I just hated that you had, black men tearing each other down. But, he had some grievances, and he aired those grievances. And I think a large part, when I analyzed it, you have to be careful how you treat people, because you never know where they're going to end up. And unfortunately, a lot of times we look down on people, or we don't think this person is on our level. And, a lot of the things that he spoke on, to me, came from hurtful experiences with the people he mentioned, and that was the fruit of what you saw. And then there was I heard Don D.C. Curry said that Cat told him a story where he was out at the mall and he had his kids, and Steve Harvey was there, and he sent his kids over to get Steve Harvey's autograph, and Steve Harvey, wasn't very nice to them. And then they mentioned, I don't know if you've seen the clip. So, we just I did. We have to be careful how we treat people, because number one, you should just be a good person. But number two, you don't know, Maya Angelou said it best, you might not remember what somebody said, you might not remember, and I'm paraphrasing what they did, but you'll always remember how somebody made you feel. So apparently a lot of the people that Cat mentioned made him feel a certain type of way. And now, he's expressing his feelings as a result of that. So you just have to be careful, how you treat people.
He spoke about stealing jokes, and it seems like after he spoke about that, it was like a whole flux of, this video is out. Cedric Entertainer stole my people. I mean, it was everywhere where I was seeing the whole joke about the car thing. Now, I mean, I watched both videos. They're similar, but I feel like they're still different. Then they said Cat Williams stole jokes from JB Smoove, which is another vet. I'm like, the stealing jokes thing, because if everyone's accusing, what's the point? To be honest, like, if I saw you on Comic View years ago and forgot about Lorel was talking about that, because he stole Damon's joke, which I had him on here last time, and it's like Damon, still took him home. He's out in the rain. The whole story was crazy, but he admitted it. But he's the only one I've seen do that. Everyone else was like, I didn't steal anything. What is your thoughts on stealing jokes?
Well, first of all, I saw an interview with Red Fox, whom I love. I love Red Fox. And Red Fox said,
love Red Fox.
Said that there's nothing new. Every subject has been covered. Everybody, every subject that you can ever think of, people have talked about. But you bring your own unique experience to that subject matter. Your experience of how things happen in your life. Be it you talking about your marriage, you talking about your kids. So I think that we have to be slow to accuse someone of stealing unless they take one of our personal experience. Like, you can have a joke about your kids, taking your kids to the grocery store. I can have a joke about taking my kids to the grocery store. That doesn't necessarily mean I stole it from you. But when we get into specific details of what happened at the grocery store, if your experience is very similar to mine, then we have a problem. But the general topic of taking the kids to the grocery store, nobody has a patent on that. You can't claim that. And so I look at things like, in this business, just keep writing. You can't stop someone from taking something from you or doing something real close. And if you spent all your time trying to go after people who did that, you'd never get anything accomplished. So my thing is just keep writing, and keep reinventing yourself and keep coming out with new stuff. And that's really all you can do, you know, you can confront someone and say, you know, this, hey, that. But at the end of the day, what is it going to do? Because once somebody has done something on television, or once somebody has done something, you can't make them undo it. You understand what I mean? You know, it's different if you're at a club.
Right.
Somebody does your joke at the club, and you can go to them afterwards and say, hey, man, you know, I have a joke like that. You know, you can talk it out. But once somebody has done something, what can you really do about it other than just keep moving? So, you know,
I want to ask you a question. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, babe. I'm sorry.
No, go
You're
ahead.
good.
Go ahead.
Corey Holcomb has spoke about Darnell Rollins, sorry, about being a mild comic. And I've seen your comment. You're funny as crap to me. And I think about it, there's different comics that want to cuss, the one that don't cuss, or whatever. And that whole mild thing came to a point where people were dissecting which comic is mild or not. What do you think about that as far as your comic and how you do yours? Do you consider yourself to be mild or not? To me, it seems like mild is the insult from what the whole thing went down there, and I looked up, researched it. I'm trying to understand it because, like, I know that Corey, all of you guys are different in so many different ways. It's an insult from what I've been told behind the scenes. So what do you think about yours? And I'm not trying to call you mild, but I'm just saying because it's been a topic for about 2 weeks about this mild thing. And so now people are comparing, like, are you mild comic? Now every comic you'll see the bottom, is it mild or not? I'm like, bro, is this like hot sauce? Like, I'm just trying to understand.
Yeah, you know,
what is this?
I'm confused on it too. What's your definition of mild? I mean, I saw that clip and I didn't understand, unless he was saying, you know, he was equating mild to soft, like you're a soft dude or whatever. But
I think he was.
Yeah, you know, from watching that, you know, the context of it was insulting in terms of the way he went up and he said it, you know, because to say you're mild, you know, you can be a mild person. Like I'm confused on that. But I saw that clip, and I think, you know, he went up right after he had just finished performing, and he called him mild. So I think that was done in such a way that it was insulting. You know what I mean? And it forced. But, you know, here again, you know, I just think that we have to be very, very careful as Black men and as Black comedians, because, you know, the whole, you know, you mentioned Cat Williams, it's becoming like rap. I mean, this is becoming like Death Row. You know, it's becoming, when we go there,
all have been the videos.
But when we go there, there's a tragic end. Somebody's going to get hurt. Somebody's going to, you know, there's going to be a fight. There's going to be something. So this whole thing to me is trending. It's becoming the old Death Row records. You know what I mean? Where you call somebody out, you call them out on stage, you call them. And I think that we have to be careful, because we're sending a negative message, and there are young guys coming up behind us. And I want to say this, you know, I'm sure you saw, you've seen Showtime at the Apollo. Remember when you say you're an old comic man? Remember when Showtime at the Apollo?
I'm 47, so yes.
It was huge, but it did a disservice to Black comedy and Black comedians in particular, because Black people watch that show. Our people would watch that show and think, that's what we got to do. That's what's hip. We got to go to a club, and if a Black comic ain't funny, we got to boo him off stage. And it set a trend. And so we have to be careful with what's going on with this calling out and Black comics going after Black comics, because there are other Black comics coming up, and they're going to think that's the way. You got to call somebody out. You got to step to them. You got to tell them that they're soft. You got to, you know, go up or behind them when they finish performing. You got to go up right behind them and attack them. And I just think we have to be careful with the message that we're sending. Everybody's different, obviously. We all have different styles. But I think we all have a responsibility as Black men to calm this situation, because it's trending in a way where you're going to start seeing fights. It's going to get violent. You know, we're headed in that way, calling people out, you know, questioning people's manhood. and putting people in a position where they're forced to defend themselves. And when that happens, I don't think it's going to be the outcome that we want. So I'm a man of peace. I'm about peace, and you know, my message is we need to come together and sit down and talk things out before we go out and air things out that could come back and cause potential problems. And you know, I don't mean to come on here and be preachy and that.
No. It's not. No. That's good. But what, you know, hasn't beef been around there in comedy for a while? And I say that because, you know, the whole thing with Bernie Mac and Steve Harvey was like, people was completely thrown off by that. The fact that Steve Harvey and Bernie Mac had issues behind the scenes, and that they felt like that. Well, that's allegedly the other part, that Steve Harvey tried to stop or tried to get on his movie. You know, it's a lot that came out after he died. Rest in peace, Bernie Mac. And so, but I thought about it, kind of going in that rabbit hole. How many other beefs were there? The only thing about it, we didn't know about it. I'll say that, between comics, you know, including the women comics, I heard things happening. So it's like, so was it hidden? All of a sudden, Cat is now bringing it out. What do you think about that? Because you, of course, I've never heard your name or anything, and you seem like you kind of be chill on that.
I try to stay away from it, but but the difference is that we didn't have social media, we didn't have platforms, we didn't have an instant way to get it out. So if there was a beef between comedians, it was in the comedy world. It was amongst us. Oh man, you know what you call did this? He took the joke, this and that, you know? Okay. We didn't have these instant platforms to where you could put it out to the world, and you know, people instantly see it. So yeah, there's always been, but that's within anything you do. There always personality clashes. They're you know, beefs below the surface.
Yeah.
But now everything has become public, instantly public. So that's the difference.
Well, you know, when I said about the Corey Holcomb situation and Darnell, Darnell situation, Darnell kind of walked up to the stage while he was on the stage. Now, I know that you guys have like a respect situation where you guys are on stage. There's certain things that you guys know about that we're not aware of. So Darnell coming up to him on stage in the middle of his sets, I heard other comics say they may not agree with what Corey said, but they feel like Darnell was disrespectful to Corey by going up while he was on set. Is there like a rule or something? Like if you're on set, for instance, and some other comic or even a heckler, so can you tell me about that? Is there like a unwritten rule?
You know, the unwritten rule is that you always, you know, when someone is performing, and this is just a general rule, period, you know, you give them the common courtesy of not interrupting them, not, you know, being disruptive while a comedian is on stage. But that's what I'm telling you. We're getting to the point to where all of that stuff is going to be thrown out the window. You know what I mean? You know, no one has the right to tell someone how they should respond to something. And that's what I'm saying. We're entering into an area where those unwritten rules are going to be broken. And as a result of them being broken, there are going to be consequences. That, you know, that thing with Corey Holcomb and Darnell, that could have gotten really ugly. You know what I mean? He was yelling off stage. He was on stage. And anytime you engage in those type of conversations or what's the word? Confrontations, you don't know what's going to happen. You know, I mean, they could have, you know, got to fighting right there, and then you would have had
they could have
two black comedians at a well-known fighting, and then what? You know what I mean?
Say that now.
The sad thing about us is when one thing happens, we all fall under that umbrella. Like if two white comedians, you know, fight or get into it, that's just an isolated altercation or incident. But when we do it, now the ramifications, you know, are on all black comedians that are doing not necessarily urban comedy, but doing, you know, black comedy. When I say black comedy, you know, we've already been placed in the category of Def Comedy Jam, you know, comic.
We have been.
So when
Chocolate Sundays, I got you.
Right. So when that happens, it's all under that umbrella. Hey, we got to get rid of Chocolate Sundays, or we got to stop. You know, now we're gonna have to start patting people down when they come to the club. You know, there are far-reaching ramifications when things go awry with us, because it includes all of us, whether you want to be included in it or not, you're included in it. So
Mm,
why I
mm.
say, you know, I
Wow,
think we got
that's
to be
bad.
careful. We got to just get back to doing comedy, though, man. You know, we're up there to
Just being
entertain
funny. Just
people,
being
to
funny.
make them laugh. Yeah, to make people forget about their
Yep.
problems. It goes back to what I was saying. You know,
Yes.
especially in our community, laughter is a medicine for us.
Hmm. Hmm.
You know, you're struggling to make it. You know, this is going on, this drama. Black people come to comedy to have a good time, to laugh, to get
They
away from
do.
all that.
Hmm.
And we
Hmm.
got to get back to that. Now it's just become gangster. I mean,
Yes, we
it's
need it
really
now more than
become
ever.
gangster. Yeah,
Hmm.
you know, make people laugh,
So I
make
want to
them
ask
happy,
you
make them get
about
their problems.
look, we need that so much now, it's ridiculous. So I want to ask you about, like, as far as your career, and I know that there was some about movie plants, Kevin Hart's The Plants, all the different things. I think Mike Epps even said that Corey Holcomb can say whatever he wants to say, but Mike Epps cannot, because he has movie deals and production, all kind of things. And some people took offense to that. How do you feel about that as far as in your career? You really haven't been any beefs or anything controversial or anything like that. Do you feel like that maybe you were looked over, or that the kids nowadays are getting the movie roles and everything else, and you guys that's in the comedy clubs coming up the old school, coming up the grind, the mud, are not getting the opportunities that these kids are getting? What do you think? For Mike Epps to say that just made me wonder, is that true? That if you go in there and be a Corey Holcomb, oh, you won't get in those doors. But if you're being more not as loud, not as controversial, you'll get in those doors. I guess I'm kind of trying to say it like that.
No, I think that you have to be true to who you are. You know, there's a market for
Okay.
everybody. You know what I mean? There's a market for clean comedians. You know, you have a lot of comedians now that are, you know, under that Christian umbrella. You know, like Country
Oh,
Wayne. I
like
don't know if
Country
you
Wayne.
consider.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Country
know if you
Wayne.
consider
Hmm.
a Christian man, but I know he's clean. And then you have, you know,
Yeah.
Mike Epps, and then you got Corey Holcomb. You got, so you know, there are different styles. Nowadays, to be honest with you, you just have to create your audience. And if you create an audience for yourself, you have a large following. Like I said, if you can get these internet clicks or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
you write your own ticket. The days are gone where you have to sit around, and that's what I'm doing. You know, a lot of us who have been doing it for a while, we've had to come to the realization that, hey, we got to get on this social media. We have to do what these guys are doing. We have
Mm.
to follow the blueprint. That's where we are now. So, you know, I have a social media team now. You know, my social media is jumping. I have a couple
Oh,
of
wow.
videos that have stand-up videos that have gone viral. And one thing I realized,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I had to shake the old way of thinking, because the old way of thinking is, hey, you don't put your material out there, you hold it until you get a Netflix special or HBO special or some type of special, then you put it out. The new way
Interesting.
now
Mm-hmm.
is you got to
Mm-hmm.
put your material out. And somebody told me this and it stuck with me. And here's what changed my mind. Because I would never put my stand up on my social media, you know, because I didn't want
Okay.
people to see it. And
Right.
somebody
Mm-hmm.
said that, you know, if you owned a restaurant and you were trying to get that restaurant to be successful, you wouldn't post things,
Okay.
videos of music or people falling down or whatever. You would post what you're selling at that restaurant. You would post making that dish to create
Yes.
an appetite where people say, man, I want
Mm-hmm.
to go there. That food looks good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Same thing with
Yes.
comedy.
Yes.
You need to be posting things that people see. Say, man, this guy is good. I want to see this guy. Have you seen this clip? And
Yeah.
so I
Mm-hmm.
just came to
Mm-hmm.
that realization probably about 3 months ago. So when you go to my social media now, it's all me. You see me, and that's the thing that I was saying earlier. You just got to be creative, and right. I had to come to say, you know what? I'm just
Yeah,
going to
you
keep writing
updating yourself.
material
Yes.
and keep
Yeah.
coming up with fresh stuff. So now when I go into clubs, I have a camera with me. I record my sets and I put, you know, 1 minute clips up.
Wow.
So if you go to my Instagram page,
Smart.
Mr. Douglas Williams, or if you go to my Facebook page or TikTok, it's clips of me. You can instantly see me, recent clips, and I'm also posting old some of my classic bits that I did on Comic View, that I did on the First
Very,
Amendment
very
show I
good.
had with
I
Martin
saw
Lawrence.
that.
So you can go to DougWilliams.net. DougWilliams.net. That's my website, and it'll link you to all of my social media pages.
I'll
So
just
check out what
in the
I'm doing, man.
description so they can follow it.
Yeah, DougWilliams.net. And I'm starting to get a big response. And so I'm at a point in time in my career where I have
You're
reinvented
talented for
myself,
one.
and I'm having a blast.
Mhm, mhm.
This whole new social media thing that I'm
It's
doing
fun, right?
it's created a
Yes,
new energy within me or whatever. So and
of
one thing I
course.
want to say, and I want people to hear me on this, is that I've learned you're going to have to
Okay.
do it yourself. I know so many people that started out with me who have become really big time successful. And for a long time, I would think to myself, well, they're going to
Mm,
help me. They're going to come back. They're going to reach back. I mean, we went in the trenches
mm,
together.
mm.
And that didn't
Right.
happen. And as long as I thought that, I was
Mm,
complacent. I wasn't putting,
mm.
going really hard, because I said, man, I know this guy. They're going to
Right.
call. They're going to put me on shows. They're going to have. And when I came to the realization that nobody's going to help you, you're going to have to help yourself, it was liberating, because
Come on, Doug.
now I'm doing the work myself. Nobody owes me anything,
Mm,
but I owe myself. So now I get up every morning. I'm on
yeah,
a mission. I'm writing things down, and things are
man.
starting to move. So I want to say this to people that are watching this. Don't wait on somebody. You'll be waiting your whole life. What God has done for others, he'll do for you if you get up and put in the work. And so I'm putting in the work, and things are moving.
That is everything. Because there's a blogger, a black blogger over 40. That's my blueprint. Everything you just said, they do not help you. Everything I've ever gotten, I got on my own. No agent, no nothing, no mentor. It's just been commission reviews. So I love that you said that, because I eat that. I love it. I love it. Oh my God, that was everything, Doug. I swear I got the shiver when you said. I was like, ooh, it's like he don't even know. He's been in my world. I don't know.
Because
So you said, well, first I want to ask about Martin. Okay.
As a blogger and as a person, think about how many people that that are successful, that if they wanted to, they could do something for you. And in our mind, subconsciously, you start thinking like, man, I'm going to call this person. This person gonna help me. This person gonna help me. And years go by, and you're like, nobody has helped me. So, stop getting in that rut of thinking somebody is going to come and do something for you. And I have a new saying that
Owes
I
you
say.
something. Right.
Yeah, I have a new saying that I say to people, and it goes like this. I got some good news and I got some bad news. The good news is you're going to have to do it yourself. So when you realize that frees you. Now you ain't got to worry, be waiting on nobody or hoping about it. No, that's not going to happen. You got to do it yourself. The bad news is you got to do it yourself. It's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take sleepless nights. It's going to take a Herculean effort. But
yes,
in the end, you'll reap the benefits. So that's my new saying.
I gotta ask you about Martin, because look, working with Martin, how was that? Being on tour, just tell me about that. That had to have been everything.
No, it wasn't. And the funny thing about that is, working with Martin, it was my first time working with somebody of that caliber, somebody that I've watched, that we love. And to get the sunlight is coming out on my thing, so let me turn over here so people see.
Oh yeah, you good. It looks.
But we watch people like Martin. I came up watching Martin and the Shanays, and I was just such a huge fan of his. And one thing I want to tell people, and this applies to me too, we put people in a category because we see them on TV and we grow up to them, and we feel like they're family. We feel like we know them, but they're different people in person. And when you hold a person to that standard of, man, this is Martin, I've seen this person, and when you meet them and they're not all of those things, there's a letdown. Like, wow, man, I thought this person was gonna be like this or like this. And Martin is a human being. And so I had a business relationship with him because, I brought Martin in to do that show, The First Amendment. A lot of people think that he brought me in. No, I brought him in. And working with him.
Yes, I did think that. Oh my God.
No, that was my show that I brought him into. And you know, he had a production company. I went to him. The show did a season without Martin. And then, you know, I went out and I reached out to him and I brought him in. But working with him, you know, it just gave me a human aspect to people. There's always a human aspect. And so, you know, everybody at the end of the day is human. And it taught me to never put people in that category. You know, the person that you see on TV, the person that you see in the movie, the person that you see in the interviews, you know, that's not the same person away from those things. You know, the on-stage person is different from the off-stage person. So I learned that from working with him. And not only did I learn that working from him, I realized the same thing with me. You know what I mean? You never know what people are going through in their life. So you can't always expect somebody to be jovial, happy. Yo, what's up? What's up? You can't. Yeah. That's a persona. I mean, you know.
Now what's up?
Right.
What's up?
So
but I have to ask you, because I'm gonna have to ask you this. What was the bad part about that experience? I have to ask. I could tell it wasn't like, for one thing, we didn't know. Well, not everybody, but I didn't know. I know if I felt this way, that I thought it was the other way around, that alone will leave a bad taste in my mouth, to be honest. What was bad? And I don't want to say the word bad, but that's the only way I could kind of say it, like the experience. Can you know, say a little bit?
I'm not saying it was a bad experience per se. I'm saying it was
not pleasant, maybe.
It was a different experience.
Okay.
It was a different experience. But I learned a lot from it. Business wise. You know, I learned so much from putting that show together, from producing that show, from hosting that show, from working with Martin. It was just a teaching experience. But, you know, I try not to say bad experiences, because every experience that you have an opportunity to grow and learn from. So, you know, bad experiences are not necessarily bad experiences, because if everything was good, you wouldn't know how to overcome. You wouldn't know how to reach deep down in your soul to prevail. And so, you know, that was a teaching experience. It was a teaching experience, and it taught me a lot about business, about running the show, and about, you know, how to deal with people and just how to be professional. So, you know, that's what that experience was.
I like how you answered that. Very smooth, sir. Very, very smooth. That was very smooth.
Hey, remember what I said? We don't want to turn this into Club Shay Shay, right? Well, like, Doug came on here and turned my show.
I ain't got no liquor, first of all, so. And I ain't got the tight pants to fit. Okay, let me stop. I'm sorry. So look, what you know? What that's actually a question I would have asked you. Would you go on Club Shay Shay? Because some people are not going. The DL say he's not going. So
I would do it in a heartbeat. You know, I mean, a Club Shay Shay would do wonders for me. You know, in terms of the exposure and things of that nature. And, you know, I honestly think I have to say, you know, in defense of Shannon Sharpe, you know, he was doing his regular show. It's not like he was trying to, you know, get gossip or get dirt. He just had to deal with. I mean, imagine you set up this interview with me, right? And you're doing your interviews, you're doing your show. Imagine if I came on here and I attacked Corey Holcomb, I attacked Darnell Rollins, I attacked Martin Lawrence, and I said all of these things that, you know, when you aired it, people were like, man, have you seen? Oh my goodness, man, did you see? You didn't invite that. You didn't stir that. You know what I mean? So now the bar was set so high after the Cat Williams show, he had to continue on that path. You understand what I mean? Because once you reach a plateau of success, you have to try to emulate that. You understand? If this interview turns into
very
something
difficult.
Yeah, if this interview turns into a smoking gun or this and that, you can't go back and just interview, you know, the pastor down at the church and talk about baptizing people, because people will come on and be like, oh man, the follow-up interview after she did Doug Williams, it wasn't all. So, you know, he was trying to do
Pastor Roy.
Right, something fell in his lap. It worked. it blew up. He didn't know Cat Williams was gonna come on and do all that stuff. You could tell when
Right.
Cat Williams was doing
You
it.
could tell
that
that. You could tell he
surprised.
couldn't.
Yeah, that he
Mhm.
was like, man,
Mhm.
wow.
You can tell.
So
He didn't know
you
what
know,
to say. He didn't know what to say. He was
right.
like, "Come on, Cat. Come on,
Right.
Cat." That's all he
Yeah.
could say.
So it was
Wow.
unfortunate. It was fortunate for him that it happened like that, but it was unfortunate that he got
Yes.
that tag
Yeah.
of, oh man, if you go in there, it's gonna be some mess, it's gonna be some gossip. I mean, the man was just
I see what you're saying.
yeah. I mean, before Cat,
Mhm.
he had
He wasn't even
you know,
asking no question. I mean, he was asking, but
but before that, he
I'm sorry.
had
Go ahead, babe.
had
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
he had Steve Harvey on, he had Cedric, and none of those interviews went like that. So he was just continuing on that path. He just happened to
Oh
tap into something.
yeah, it
Yeah,
didn't.
he had a bunch of comedians. He had Earthquake on there. He had Ricky Smiley on there.
Mhm.
So he was just on a path, just like you're doing, and it erupted. And
Yeah.
you know, that's what happened. So he wasn't Wendy Williams. You know, Wendy Williams
But
was
that
always
was no, not what they call him. That you know, right?
right,
They
of
call him
course.
Wendy
But
Williams with
I'm
muscles.
saying, you know, the difference is that she was always, you know, looking for gossip and looking
for the
stir.
gossip. I got
Right.
you.
She
No.
was
I
always
agree.
looking
I
for
agree.
controversy. He wasn't looking for it. It just came to him.
He wasn't. He wasn't at all. I don't think he was ready for the Cat. But you know, I guess when Cat said all the people that was talking about him, and that's why he wanted to go on there. Initially, I didn't even think about it. They all had his name in his mouth. So for you, if you was to hear an interview and your name was to come through and it was like a negative, would you respond to it, or would you just be like, "It is what it is"?
See, and
You don't like
that's
controversy. You don't like the mess.
yeah,
So.
but see, that's the thing about it, you know, and that's what I'm saying. You know, we have created that culture to where if you don't respond, if you don't say something, then you're mild in a bad way. So you almost now have to respond. You have to come on and say something, or people will look at him. He weak, man. He's sucker. He say nothing. He just sit there and let the person do that.
Not a
so
sucker.
Yeah, I'm old school. You're a sucker. They don't say it now. I don't know what the new term is.
That's why I resonate with me, because I'm super old school. I told you I'm old.
Yeah,
So
so I don't know. It's funny because you know I sit down with my sons, and they have all of these analogies and different things that they say, and I'm like, what is that? Dad, you don't know what that is? It's so funny. I picked my son up the other day from school. This was like yesterday or the day before yesterday, and I was playing a song.
Mhm.
I was playing like Harlan Oates or something. You know, you're out of touch. I'm out of time. I was playing.
Oh yeah, I know
like
about
that.
that. My dad played that all the time.
We grew up to that, you know. It's old school. And I pulled up, and he got in the car. He's like, "Dad, cut that down. You're embarrassing me, man. Turn that off." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, can't be. He said, "Do not. If you gonna play that kind of music, pick me up at the front gate. Do not roll around here, because I had the windows down."
Oh wow!
Like, do not embarrass me.
You just rock it to it.
Yeah, I'm like, you're out of touch. I'm out of time.
Not the dad said.
He got in the car.
He said it's not the 80s, Dad. Can you please?
He looking around like, you know, like I was the police picking him up and he was an informant.
Was anybody? Well, hold on. Was anybody even there? Was anybody?
No, it was kids around because he just got out of football practice. And he was like,
oh, okay.
You gonna have me?
Oh wow, they did. They got him. He ain't lying. My son played football. They gonna get him. I ain't gonna front.
Yeah, they gonna get him.
My dad played. What was that? I thought that was a commercial. Late night, 2 in the morning. Oh no!
Now when I pick him up, I gotta be playing the new version of "Move, Bitch, Get Out the Way." You know, I gotta be playing something whatever the latest.
and even that's old school. Even that's.
I know. I gotta find out whatever's equivalent to that now. That's what I gotta pick him up playing.
Oh, I'm about to lose my lashes. Oh Jesus! I'm just saying, because we said move. I'm saying you still. Oh, I mean, it's my music now, mind you. But the kid, I mean, not saying that my kids don't know about like the Ludacris, but I try to tell my son stuff. They tell me, well, you listen to this song here, and I'm like, well, who was that? You know, but what did he say? Wait, what was the name again? I can't spell it right. It's a Z. You know.
Yeah. So that's.
I can't pronounce it. Mom, is not that way you say it. I'm like, look, I'm out.
Right, you gotta be.
You call rapper T's head or something. It might.
I don't know who the latest person.
Oh my God, I'm so old.
None of that stuff.
I just downloaded Usher recently. That's because I knew Usher when he was, he was a kid. But I just downloaded Usher. But now we're at the point now we need to delete P. Diddy's music and freaking R. Kelly. What can we listen to now? All of our music heroes are in trouble. So what can we do now? Like what's I'm about to delete my whole Apple podcast. Like,
but look, that they're saying that that Cat Williams interview ultimately led to everything that's going on with P. Diddy. You know what I mean? And or at least
I reported that.
It shines some attention on it. So that interview was far-reaching. You know what I mean? And it's just that's what I'm saying. In our community, we have to be careful because the ramifications to other people. Now, I'm not in any way suggesting that if P. Diddy is if he did what he's accused of, and that's another thing that I want to say, and I'm not trying to say this from a place of because we all fall short, and we have to, as men, and I'm not relegating this to just black men, but we have to get ourselves under control when we get this money and success. And that's why I try to stay grounded in my marriage. I try to stay grounded in just the principles that my pastor installed in me, Pastor Thomas E. Jordan. He's still preaching at Lily Baptist Church in Montgomery, Alabama. But a lot of us,
Alabama, old school Baptist church,
old school, who haven't had anything, who have had to struggle. When we come into this money or success and fame, we don't know how to handle it. And we get buck wild. We're sleeping with multiple women. You're sleeping with a different woman every night. We're having all of these menage a trois and all of these different things. And you're asking for trouble. And so I've always tried to ground myself in the principles that I was taught by my mother and my father and in the Bible, and I'm not a over religious person. But I try to live right. I try to do right. I try to, honor my marriage. I try to honor being a positive black man and influence, because I want, when people see me, I want people to be able to because I feel like we have a responsibility to this new generation of trying to put forth the best foot. And, I'm not talking about my comedy. I still do rated R comedy. I still talk dirty after dark. I do clean comedy. I do dirty comedy.
Did you say rated R?
Rated R. But I'm saying in the way we present ourselves to the world.
Yes.
So
yes. I'm sorry. You made me laugh, Doug. I'm sorry. Rated R made me think So that's old school to me. Isn't there a song called Rated R by Ralph Tresvant? That's literally came in my. I am so old, Jesus.
We're both old school. We're both old school. We're both old.
You probably know about the song because I said it.
But that's what I'm telling you.
No, but I know what you're saying. I love the positive message. The positive message is wonderful.
But what I'm saying is that's what you were talking about. Old school. I've had to change that old school mentality to come up to where things are. If I'm gonna, reach the next level at this comedy game now, I'm all about the internet. I'm all about putting out video. I'm all about trying to meet. Is this Gen X? What gen are we in? I don't know which gen are we. I think this is Gen X.
Yes, the wrong person. I don't know.
Okay, so I'm trying to meet this.
I don't even know who I meet. I don't even know who I meet in.
I'm trying to meet this new generation or what have you. So I've come up to speed. But I'm enjoying you though, man. It's so fun to talk to somebody old.
It's something. It's something wrong with me. Though people think that I'm literally like I don't mean to be like. I mean, this is me. So people come to my channel, they always say like I'm funny, but I'm like, bro, I'm like seriously being serious, and you're laughing at me, but it's whatever. So like the Desi, I mean, I feel like that Desi is funny and he does his skits, but like you have the Faison Love who dragging Country Wayne and people saying Desi, they're not funny. They're, and I love how you're embracing that, saying, look, it's a different version of what we've done before. Let's update, elevate, and get where they are. And to me, you are doing the right thing because somebody like a Desi may look up to you, but those guys who are getting that shine, if they're being dragged by the old school ones, like, they're gonna be like, man, I'm not gonna, help you up in no kind of way. But like for you at the DC, like 85 South Boys, all these people that are doing these new things would would love to work with someone like you because you're trying to go in a direction that they are going. So for you, what do you have coming up for your future? What's going on with Doug?
You know, like I said, I've reinvented myself. I gave myself this name now. I call myself Dougie Doug because, you know, so many people were calling me Dougie Doug. Not to be confused, because I had somebody say when they heard that, oh, that's the comic. That's Doug E. Doug. You know, my sister and
I know
different
you're talking
people
about.
have
Mhm.
called me Dougie my whole life. And so I was
Got it.
doing shows, you know, I work on cruise ships, and it just stuck. People just started calling me Dougie Doug, Dougie Doug. So, you know, it's a whole reinvention. And let me tell you something about Desi and all of these comics that are blowing up and they're doing this. So God bless them, man, because, you know, nothing stays the same.
Mm,
You know, today's NFL is not the old NFL. Today's NBA is not the old NBA. And so
true.
we have to change. And these guys have really laid out a blueprint on how to do this. And the good news is that these guys didn't wait on Hollywood. You know, Desi didn't, you know, go out to Hollywood and try to audition and wait for people to call him. He went
Mm-hmm.
out and
Mm-hmm.
created a lane for himself. So instead of hating on that, look at the blueprint. That's what I'm doing. I admire all those guys, man. Desi and
Yeah.
I mean, all these guys that are doing it big like that. God bless them, man, because they have really inspired me. And so, you know, Jesus said that first shall be last and the last shall be first. And so, you know, we have to look
Mm.
at the new blueprint and we have to grab hold, man. And I'm having the time of my life. And I just want to say this, you know, because you've been very, I love the way you've hosted this and who you are. You know, I had an incident that
Oh,
happened with
thank
Jamie
you.
Foxx. With Jamie Foxx, where I was doing a
Okay.
roast. It's an infamous roast. I'm sure you've seen it or what have you. And you know, you want to talk about
Yes, I
negative.
have.
When you want to talk about negativity, that roast happened in like 2000, 2001. You know, we're talking about 22, 23 years
Okay.
old. And I have so much new, and I've done
Mm-hmm.
so many
Wow.
things since then. I have new content out. And you always get people who come on my
Mm-hmm.
page from that to bring up that roast, And I just want this to be out there. When something happens to you in life, and I had to get past this because for a long time, that roast bothered me. And I told you, I looked at it
Ah,
as a bad experience, as a shameful thing. And I had someone sit me down, and my wife
a
included,
teachable
and say,
moment. Mm.
hey, your journey is your journey. And things that happen on your journey, you can either let them break you or you can use those things as things to motivate you and show people that, hey, you know what? This happened, but look at me now. So I just want to say to all the people out there who come on my things and then have a blast. Come on, type what you want or what have you, because you're still paying attention to me. You saw that, and now you come to see what I'm doing now. So there are, and I want to tell people out there, never let something that happens in your life define who you are. Embrace it, realize that it's a part of your journey, and keep it pushing. And so that's what I've been able to do. And you know,
That
and my
incident
whole
was crazy. I don't know. You know, I know that had to been a hard situation though. I just wanted to say that it had to been hard for you to go through that. Just being transparent. Like I
you
remember,
know
I
what?
remember when it came up, and I was like, "Why you doing my
You
boy
know
like
what?
that, man?"
It was a hard situation because I allowed it to become a hard situation. You know, I was watching, and these are things that have helped
Ooh.
change my mind on that. I
Mm.
was watching Dwayne Wade, the basketball player, former basketball. He was doing an interview,
Okay.
and he got dunked on. Somebody dunked on him, and so he was. And this is
Mm-hmm.
a
Mm-hmm.
similar thing that happened to me. And so his kids brought it up, you know, that he had gotten dunked on, and they were laughing. And they said,
Mm-hmm.
"Daddy dunked." And instead of him going, "Hey man, son, you know that dude dunked on me, man, on national television, made me look bad, and y'all are laughing
Right.
at it." He
Right.
laughed with him. He
Mm.
embraced it, like, yeah, he got me. And you know, I was doing the same thing with that roast. I was like, had my head down, and my
Okay.
kids got to an age to where their friends saw that roast. Is that your dad? That and they came to me and they were like, Dad, is there a roast out where Jamie Foxx, because you know they knew him as the villain that he played, Electro in Spider-Man, where he did this to you and did this to you.
Right. Right.
And
Right.
my wife said, hey, you know what? You need to have fun with that. your kids are laughing about it or whatever, don't make it seem like it's something bad, because you're gonna create a different atmosphere if you go in sensitive. And once I started laughing with them, and I met their friends and stuff, and I realized that, hey, you know what? It's on you whether you transform that into something bad or you let that dictate something bad. And it doesn't bother me anymore.
Right.
I'm doing a documentary on it, and I want people to know that we're almost finished.
Ooh, I think that's
So,
awesome.
yeah, so it's going to be a great documentary. We talk about it. I hadn't watched that roast in a long time. I watched the roast on the documentary. It's going to be a really, really good documentary. So I'm taking that and turning it into something positive. So,
oh, I'm looking forward to seeing that. When is
it's gonna
that?
be
Do you have
really
any idea
good.
when it's gonna come out, or y'all still actually filming it?
We're about to
Are y'all
finish
still filming it right now?
We're still filming it. We have a couple of more pieces that we're going to shoot in June. And so I want to say that that'll probably be out next year, in 2025. I think the title is Get 'em Doug. You know, something that I think Monique said on that roast, Get 'em Doug. So it's going to be a great documentary. And so, you know, all the people out there who think you're doing harm when you're actually helping me, because I want that to be out. I want that to live, because we're doing a documentary on it. And so I don't want that to die down. So the people who think that, because people write in to think they're hurting you, you're not hurting me. You're helping me. So
and then that
keep it alive.
I have to ask you a question, a final question. After that happened, I just have to ask it because we talked about it a little bit. So after that happened, the people that was there, what was their response to you? Jamie included. I mean, after after it's over, the lights are done, and y'all go behind the scene. You know, you have to see each other when you go backstage.
He came up to me after that happened, and it was like, "Hey, man, it was I was roasting you." It wasn't any ill will when I saw him backstage. He didn't come up to me and go,
okay.
He was like, "Hey, man, it's a roast. I was just trying to break you in," but I was really upset after that happened, because number one, I didn't want to be there. It wasn't my type of thing. And there's this narrative out. I do want to address this. Now your show is about to get controversial, because I've seen Shaq. Shaq has talked about that roast on a couple of he has a podcast now, and he had Country Wayne on. He talked about it, and he had Gary Owen on, and he talked about it. And in that interview, he said, "Now your thing is really about to go blow up." He said that he was having a meeting, having a production meeting, and I came into the production meeting, and I was like, "Yo, man, I'm funnier than Jamie Foxx. Put me on." And there's this narrative out where they're trying to insinuate that that I was combative, that I was arrogant at that thing, that I was like, yeah. And that's not true at all.
My God.
So I just want to put that out. I love Shaq. We're in the same fraternity. He's a Omega man. I'm an Omega man.
Yeah.
But that's not the case. I was new at that roast. I was a struggling comic at the time. And I was there to try to make a name for myself, to try to draw some attention to myself in a good way. I drew attention to myself, so I accomplished that part of it.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
But anybody that knows me, I'm not an arrogant person. I'm not a braggadocio. I've never been that way. I've never been full of pride, arrogant. I've never been those things. So that narrative is false. I don't know, where he got that from, why he said that, but we're
gonna change that narrative. We're gonna change the narrative.
Yeah, the only interaction I had with Shaq is he came backstage before the show and he introduced himself. We all said hello, but I wasn't backstage,
and that was it.
Funny, and I was gonna rip it up, and I busted, because he said this distinctly. He said that he was having a production meeting with Monique and Jamie Foxx were there, and I came in the production meeting and I said, "Yo, I'm funnier than Jamie Foxx. Put me on." Shaq didn't put me on that show. I had a manager at the time who called me up and said, "Hey, I got this thing." Yeah, so when you go back, you can go back. It's on the internet now, but that's not the case at all. So I'm
gonna look that up.
I do want to put that notion out there that and that just goes to show you how long ago that was. That was 22 years ago. So people's recollections of things might not be accurate, but that wasn't the case at all. So I do want to put that out there.
Trying to say Shaq. Either Shaq is lying or he don't remember. Either way, it's incorrect. Copy that.
Yeah, I think it's probably a little bit of both of that. Hey, look, but here's the crazy thing about it. Here's the crazy thing. I want to show you how crazy this is. He's been on twice talking about me on that show. Have me on your show. If it's that, you know, if you want to talk about the show and what happened, I'll be happy to come on your podcast and talk about what happened. We can go down memory
Real
lane
talk.
together. Yeah,
Real
but
talk.
don't put a narrative out there and then not give me an opportunity.
Ooh, I like that. Okay. That's the way it should be. He just bring you on there.
Yeah, bring me, if you want to talk about the roast, bring me on there. Yeah,
I'm gonna make sure Shaq sees this. Period. Oh my God, this interview was everything. He gonna hear Shaq. Stop it. Let's be real, because I think I have heard Shaq say some stuff, and I was like, that's crazy, bro. I swear that's crazy. I'm gonna make sure he see it though. Whether he responds to it or not, he gonna be it.
He's done that on two podcasts. I mean, where he's had 2 guests on, he keeps going back and forth to that roast or whatever. But Shaq, I'm not hard to find. You see this young lady right here found me, and we're doing the interview or whatever. I'm not hard to find, man. If you want to talk about what really happened on that thing or whatever, hey, you know how to find me. We're in the same fraternity. Oh.
Wow. Let's go. That was cute. So even Monique being there, did Monique ever come out and say anything about it? Like ever? She's not publicly, but maybe behind the scenes, like, hey, the way she rocked.
The crazy thing is Monique came up to me right after that show, because I've known Monique for a long time. I mean, we all started out together. Monique, Earthquake, Ricky Smiley, all of us are cut from essentially the same cloth or whatever. So when I did that roast, you know, I have a history of, you know, I've done shows with Monique in Atlanta. I remember when she started. So she came up to me after the show and like, why you didn't get him? You should have got him. And I was like, hey, Monique, that's not really my thing. She's like, no, baby. And I think, you know, she was saying that's where the term "get 'em Doug" comes from. I think she was saying that the whole time, "Get 'em Doug." So she was really in my corner on that. On that. I mean, she really wanted me to step up, because she realized that I was new there, that it was a big moment, and you know, so she was very ingratiating to me backstage after that show. I have to say that about her.
Well, that was good. This whole interview was so good. But so, Doug, tell them, where's your next show? Where can they find you at? I know you got stuff coming up. Besides documentary, what's the next comedy appearance?
I want everybody to just go to my website, because I post all my dates and stuff on my website, DougWilliams.net.
Okay.
Doug Williams.
And I will have that. I'll have it in the description when they click on the. It'll be in the description. So when they click on the interview, once it posts it, they'll be able to click on it.
So
I got you.
And my wife and
I'll make sure that you promote it.
And my wife and I have a production company, and we're doing a lot of stuff. We're about to launch a podcast.
Oh wow!
Because we run a production company, a small production company out here, in the sense of the grand scheme of things. Not small in terms of us, but just small in terms of, you know, Warner Brothers and this and that. We run an independent production company. And look, let me tell you, man, working with my wife has been one of the greatest things that could have ever happened. I've had a lot of partners, but there's nothing like having a partner who you know has your back, who you know has your best interest in heart, you know. And so, you know, I didn't know how it would go at first, because I'm like, man, I gotta be with you, then I gotta work with you, and then, you know, my wife and I, you know, we have a crazy relationship, because we can be arguing about something and stop on a dime and get ready, because we've been doing productions where, you know, she's directed and, you know, I'm doing something. She's like, why did you do that? I have this. This is clearly on the paper. You're supposed to say this. You're not supposed to say that. And action. All right, and we're back. How y'all doing? Okay, man. So, you know, we have that kind of relationship. So, but
y'all
we
are
have a
cute.
podcast,
I love it.
that's going to be coming out called Running. The name of our production company is DNA Media. It's going to be called Running DNA Media. And we're just going to start showing people the behind the scenes of what it takes to make it here in Hollywood, the doors that have been closed to us, the doors that we're opening up. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm also about to do a podcast with a legendary boxer called, people look him up, James Toney. He was a big time fighter. He fought Roy Jones. He fought Razor Ruddock. He fought a lot of people. His name is James Toney. And I'm about to do a podcast with him. He's launching a podcast that I'm going to co-host with him, called Punchline Pros. So that'll be coming out. So we have a lot of things in the work. Like I said, I'm excited. This is
got a lot of stuff coming up.
A rebirth for me. And I'm just having, by God's grace, only by God's grace, am I having a great time. And God has allowed me to do something in life. And I want people to really hear me on this. You know, God has blessed me to do what I love. and to make a living from it and to take care of my family. So you can't rain on my parade. You can't, come to me with negativity or try to leave a comment or something that you feel is going to bother me, because when God gives you something that you love and that you can do on a high level and take care of your family, what more can you ask for in life? So I'm eternally blessed by God. I can't thank
nothing else. It's blessing.
I can't thank him enough for allowing me to do this and take care of my family. So
first of all, we went overtime because I know he has something to do, but that's how I know I'm enjoying this interview. But I know he has something to do, so I'm gonna have to let him go. And it's unfortunate because I really like talking to him. But I do know one thing: when your documentary comes out, I'm gonna promote it. When you do your stuff, please send me the links to everything you got going on. I'm gonna add it to this live. But when the documentary comes out, I want to make sure I promote it because I want to see it. It's gonna be good. It really is. And I think you and your wife doing a beautiful thing. I love Black Love, and I love it.
My wife and I actually producing that. That's one of the things that we're producing, that documentary. So
oh, y'all got it going on.
Yeah, we trying to
y'all got it going on.
Make this thing happen the best way we can. And listen, keep doing what you're doing. The Bible says you have not because you've asked not. But you sent me, your energy was so great. You sent me the little thing talking about your podcast. I'd never seen it before. But the energy that came off of the email you sent me, I was like, I got to do this podcast, because I'm at the point now where I'm being very selective about the things that I do right now. But your energy was great. So, it's been a pleasure being on here.
I like appreciate that.
Keep doing what you're doing. And, we're going to have to do a check-in. I'm going to have to come back and check in when something gets ready to drop. I'm going to have to come
Yes, please. Yes, please. Yes. So I'm doing this whole series. So any of your friends can come on through. And I know you got some friends. I can come on through these episodes I got going on. First of all, this is Kamisha Reviews. I actually do reality TV, which is what I normally do. I'm big on that. I'm known for that, for Big Brother, for the Challenge. I'm known for Ready to Love. I'm known for all these. I've done all these different things from ABC, NBC, all these different interviews. But for me, I kind of wanted to do something different. I've used to cover my first interview was actually with Hope Flood. My very first interview, like over 5 years ago, was Hope Flood. It was the first one, but
that's my girl.
I've always wanted to interview comedians. Really, I haven't talked to her in a long time, but I've always wanted to interview comedians, but I just kind of stopped. Yes. So I need to do a part 2 with her.
Hope.
I really do. So
I love the realness of Hope. Hope had cosmetic surgery and all this stuff. And the whole purpose of cosmetic surgery is to hide what you're doing, so people don't know. You come and look. Hope showed the scars. She showed the place in Mexico that she went down. I said, God, I had to call her up. I said, Hope, you putting it down. Ain't no shame in your game. She's like, baby, I'm out here trying to get it. So I love Hope Flood.
Oh, I would love to interview her again, man. I cannot find her. I would love to interview her again because my first interview I did with her was on my other channel. I cannot find the interview. All I had was clips. So I've been trying to get a hold of her to do my second interview with her because
all her social media she responds to. So if you go leave her a message on her social media, and in fact, I have a number. I'm gonna give you a number because Hope real about it. She don't care about stuff like that. So I will text you her phone number and you can text her.
She's very, very real.
Real as they come.
Perfect. All right, Miss Doug, I know you got something going on. We're gonna come back to this. I want to bring you back on again when you do your other stuff as well. Alex, I know you got appointments, so we went over like 12 minutes, but like I said, it was just that good. I'm gonna give you guys his information in the description. Y'all can follow him and go to his shows and just check him out. He's funny as crap. Okay, thank you again for coming on, King.
Every Tuesday and Friday, I drop a new stand-up comedy clip on my social media. So, it's a minute clip of me performing. So every Tuesday and every Friday, if you go to any of my social media platforms, on Instagram, it's Mr. Douglas Williams. On Facebook, it's Doug Williams fan page. But like I said, if you just go to DougWilliams.net, it'll link you up. And you can see I've dropped a lot of them. And some of them have gone viral. So make sure you check out those clips, leave a comment, and share the videos. If you think it's funny, share them. That's all I ask.
So everybody wants to see Doug do a roast.
I know, right? I'm officially retired from those roasts. I can tell you that right now. I'm officially
retired. He said, I'm not.
Officially retired.
All right, Doug, I appreciate you. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. Maybe your kids go on comedy. Maybe. I don't know if you want that to happen, but maybe they might see dad and say one day I'm gonna be a comedian. I
Well,
mean,
they
it might
have.
happen. You know, it might happen. I know.
They've been on stage. They've tried it. They're too cool for it now.
Oh wow. Okay.
Comedy, you have to have self-deprivation, and so they're too cool now. They're not doing that. And, and like I said, I got to play the right music when I pull up to pick my youngest son. So if you anybody out there got any happening songs, any happening songs, leave them in the comments or go on my thing and send me what type of music I can pull up and pick my son up to.
Oh, I like that. Again, guys, this is Commission Reviews. I am the queen of reality TV, but I'm the queen, period. Up here with the king, Doug Williams, period. All right, guys, hit the like button and subscribe. And make sure y'all check out all of Doug's things. And again, I'll have everything in the description. Y'all can follow the website and everything else so we can check out the kingdom that him and his wife are creating. So with that being said, we out of here.